Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 305, Good Form. This episode aired on October 27th, 2013. It was written by Christine Boylan and Daniel T. Thompson and was directed by John Emile. And before I get going into the synopsis, I do apologize. I'm sick. I'm selfish in that I wanted to record this week because I really want to get to the next episode. So enjoy the Angie Harmon voice. That's all I can say. So before we get into our recapping and chatting, let's go over a synopsis for Good Form. In the Enchanted Forest, with fresh orders from the king, Captain and Lieutenant Jones of the Jewel of the Realm are ordered to set sail to Neverland to retrieve a plant they believe to be a cure-all elixir, Dreamshade. When Pan tells them that the plant is actually a poison, Liam uses the plant on himself to prove the boy was playing with them, only to collapse. Killian listens to Pan again in an attempt to save his brother with the waters from a spring that could heal him, but not without a price. As soon as Liam leaves Neverland, he dies. Distraught by the dishonor and dishonesty of their king, Killian hijacks the ship he's called home, renaming it the Jolly Roger, and intending to set sail as a pirate, for even among thieves there is honor. And in Neverland, David's days are numbered due to the Dreamshade poisoning, and with every passing moment, our heroes fear that Henry is closer to becoming a lost boy. Emma, Regina, and Snow work together to catch a lost boy and use his heart to compel him to deliver a mirror to Henry so that they can show him that they're in Neverland and they're coming for him. Meanwhile, Killian tricks David into climbing Dead Man's Peak in search of a sextant that could get them off the island, in hopes that he can convince the prince to drink the magical water to save his life, as long as he stays on Neverland forever. David agrees and returns back to their camp, singing of Killian's honorable praises, which leads to an amorous thank you from Emma.
You did a good job.
I got through it. I'm proud of myself.
We did. It's going to be great. Everything's great.
This is an interesting episode.
That's a good word for it.
I think interesting is a good word for it.
Because I have mixed feelings.
Okay, as do I.
Yeah,
Did you like the Killian backstory?
I liked that I got the Killian backstory.
Okay, you didn't particularly care for it, but you liked that we had some?
Yeah, it was actually really weird because I was like, oh, Killian backstory. And then we start going through it and I'm like, oh, this is kind of boring.
Fun fact,
okay.
though, which I find I find this hilarious because I'm sure you did as well. We watch the subtitles. So they say the word, they call him Lieutenant, and that's the subtitles spell it with an F. Lieutenant is just the British pronunciation of lieutenant. It should be spelled.
Such a weird way to.
It's weird. That. It's a weird way to. It's a weird way to pronounce it, but it should be spelled the same way. So I don't know. -2 points to whoever did the captioning that didn't check that should be spelled differently.
Yeah, we're not doing that phonetically, guys. It's a word. But yeah, no, I mean, I laughed at the Neverland post office for obvious reasons.
I haven't seen a Neverland post office.
Always, as always, teenagers are the worst. Like
they are.
The Lost Boys are just so annoying.
Yeah,
I miss when in stories they were just this cute little band of boys who played all the time.
Well, I think that's also a case of, in like older versions, they're actual children. In this case, they are mostly teenagers, and teenagers are the worst.
Exactly. I was really excited when I realized it was based like mainly Hook and for this episode. I got really excited, and then I just went, oh no, why does he look like that?
The little ponytail and that always gets me. Well, because so this is actually not the earliest Killian backstory we're going to see. We're going to see him as a little boy at one point, and I think that's a different episode than I was going to say. So we're going to see him as a little boy at one point, but we're going to see one step earlier than this where Killian and Liam are before they end up on the Jewel of the Realm. So we're going to see that.
Okay.
Ooh, that's season 5, I think. I think that's in the Brothers Jones. Yeah.
Okay. I did laugh too when they said, I don't fight invalids. I was like, yes.
That line gets me every time because I always forget it.
It's such a good line.
I don't fight invalids.
I'm sorry, a Pegasus?
Yes, Pegasus wings, because why not? That's a Deus Ex Machina if I've ever seen one, honestly.
Honestly, I just really had a moment of like, okay, we're going with that. It makes the ship fly. At least we have a reason why the ship flies. Why the ship flies. That isn't pixie dust. Like,
yeah,
because you can't use pixie dust when you're making pixie dust this huge deal in the show. It's like, well, if we use that, then that kind of takes away from things.
Yeah,
So.
I think as far as I can remember, when they get back from Neverland, it's also not pixie dust. They do find another way to make it fly.
Oh my god. How many ways can we make a ship fly?
But that one, the way to get the ship to fly back, I think is the most clever usage. It's the most clever way of getting it to fly that isn't pixie dust. In my opinion, I think that one makes that. I think that one's the coolest and the most satisfying.
Okay.
Pegasus feathered sail is just weird.
Just weird.
Just weird.
Like, poor Pegasus.
Yeah, right?
Like, what the fuck, guys? Poor Pegasus.
Doesn't Pegasus want its wings?
As always, Charming, getting on my last fucking nerve. God, he's the worst.
Oh, yes, he is.
I've always liked Charming to an extent. Like, he never really annoyed me all that much. It was, it's his and Snow's stories really great. I actually do enjoy their romance, even though I'm not huge into their romance specifically.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'm just like, all right, can we just kill Charming? Because like at this point, he's just annoying. He's more annoying dying than he would be dead.
We're not going to kill Prince Charming. Because here's the thing is, they weren't going to kill him in the pilot. They're not killing him now.
I'm sorry. Just like, title. I'm sorry, we're not going to kill Charming.
If they weren't gonna was that not the title of our first episode? Was like, did you know Prince Charming almost died or something like that?
Yeah, it was. I think that was our first episode,
something like that. So like, if they weren't gonna kill him in the pilot, they're not gonna kill him now.
I mean, this is also how many years ago too.
This is true. Also, there's context of I know he doesn't die. He almost dies a lot.
I see that. Can he take a break from that for just a little while?
He's idiot number 2. He literally can't.
I know. Oh, the idiots. I feel like I'm very much channeling Regina at this point, watching this show at times. I'm just like, the things I just start spouting at the screen.
Towards the end of the episode, like when they start kissing, she's just like, what I wouldn't give for another sleeping curse. Because like, what was it? Snow's also line was like, I don't know what that was, but I'm not complaining. And then Emma's like, okay, I'm complaining.
Right? Like, guys, stop.
Please stop with the making out. It's fine.
Hook working for Pan was unexpected.
Yeah, we get, like, we're told that he worked for Pan in the past. We never fully see, like, how that actually works.
Okay, but that would actually be interesting.
But there's just not enough time. Mostly, him working for Pan is just used as an excuse for Killian to show up in various storylines and various timelines. So, like, he travels back and forth from Neverland to the Enchanted Forest periodically, because we'll see him, like, in, like, older, like, Enchanted Forest stuff here and there.
Okay. I just wrote, well, the captain is an idiot. Because he is.
Because he is. Like, no, Liam, don't. Stop.
I wrote, is this episode just men are dumbasses? Like, it's...
Yes, it is.
The whole episode of just the men being stupid.
Yes. That's basically it.
And so much could have been fixed if they had just told the women what was going on.
Yes.
Honestly. And I'm just sitting here just angry.
Well, okay, so the truth of what happened, so the fact that now that David can't leave Neverland or else he's going to die, the truth of that comes out in the next episode. And Snow tears into him, like, you should have told me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we should have, like, we're working this out together. You're not doing this by yourself anymore. You moron. Like, kind of thing. Of, like, we're figuring this out.
Good.
Like, no, none of this secret keeping anymore.
That. He deserves that.
Next episode next episode is the therapy caves.
Dude, I'm just so excited for the next episode. You have no idea. I feel like I've kind of dragged through these episodes.
I told you I'm dragging you through this season. I think 6, and then 6 is gonna pick up. Okay. 7 and 8 are gonna be a little more plot heavy, so you might like them even though
I like plot.
I think 7 and 8 are a little more plot heavy in the backstory, especially. Because 8 is where a big thing you want to know is revealed, and then 9 is Regina adopting Henry backstory. So we're just both gonna cry the whole time.
I'm calling you for that one. I'm calling you for that one. I'm gonna be like, all right, you have to watch me cry my eyes out at this episode. You've caused this.
I very much look forward to just the texts that is my name in all caps while you watch 9, because
no, I'm gonna make you watch me watch 9.
Okay.
You're gonna see the tears. Oh no.
I don't know if we've said this before, but this is our first episode recording back after our break that got extended longer because of my illness and various construction in my household. Can you tell we missed doing this?
We really do. It's been, and life has just been life. And
yeah, life has been crazy. This is our emotional and this is our enjoyment for the week. Like,
this
truthfully,
is therapy.
This is therapy. Who needs therapy, Island? You have therapy podcast,
right? I did have my moment of, yes, thank you for letting Regina do her thing. I fucking love Regina. Like, finally.
What have I been saying this whole time is, like, they need to learn to play on each other's strengths and what they're willing to do. Otherwise, nothing's going to get done.
And Regina's strength is being a badass.
Well, because, like, the literal line is, like, when Snow's being a little hypocritical, which annoys the crap out of me. But the exact line is, like, I know how easy it is to give into the darkness. I didn't want you to, and then she cuts her off. She didn't. I did. That's what I'm here for.
I love it. I did enjoy that moment of all magic comes with a price. I was like, Pan's saying this. Okay. This is getting more interesting. That's getting more interesting to me. I'm like, I'm enjoying this aspect of the Pan Rumpelstiltskin connect. I find very interesting.
What's your going theory right now? Because I feel like
something
you have an idea.
Their childhood, like it's got to be. I feel like that's got to be it. Because he's frozen at 17, so it's got to be that.
There is a connection in childhood of someone's childhood.
Okay, someone's childhood. Okay, well, you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, I'm enjoying that aspect. And like I've always said, Rumpelstiltskin's not my favorite, but I enjoy when they do stuff like this, when they actually connect the characters in a more interesting way than just we're all from the same place.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested. I'm very excited to see how you feel about the reveal of their connection. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to try and I'm not going to sway you either way. Because I'm not going to give you any information other than I don't personally think it landed as hard as they wanted it to.
Which is so disappointing because that keeps happening with the show where I'm like, oh, this is going to be great, and then it's like, oh, that was lackluster.
For me, it's a personal thing in that I just found it. I didn't personally, like, other people find it. They're like, what do you mean you didn't think it was compelling? I'm like, because I didn't, and it seems kind of like a cop-out, in my opinion. But it's not, but like, that's a personal thing. You may feel differently. So we'll find out.
Which is funny, because we have felt the same on quite a few things.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's been a lot of things you're like, I don't know which way you're going to go with this, but I hope it'll be interesting if you go the opposite of my opinion, and lo and behold, Katie feels the same way.
I think it's the frontal lobe, I think it's definitely that forming.
Ooh, yeah.
I think the prefrontal cortex. I think there's a little bit of that. I think cause I've now been overanalyzing this show far too much past prefrontal cortex closing. So possibly
that happens around 25, folks. Just so you know,
that it does.
Finding out Charming can't leave Neverland was definitely a like, oh shit moment. I do like how they showed that happens. Mm-hmm. I know he died, but still, like, it was a good way to show it.
Pan didn't lie. He said, "Don't leave Neverland if you're not prepared to pay the price." Mm-hmm. Like, the thing is, like, he made toy with words. He made, like, much like Rumple, he made toy with words the way he toys with people, but he doesn't lie.
Mm-mm. And then I just wrote, "Fuck yeah, that was a good kiss."
The beginning of Captain Swan.
It was wonderful. I felt a little straight in that moment. Which is always a weird experience. But it was good. I was like, all right, here we go. And then of course her being like, all right, that's the last time that's happening. And I'm like, okay. Have you seen the man? For sure, Jan.
I don't know where this I must say ideology, iconography, whatever it is. I don't know where this started. I think this was just me and my friends. Because I have an icon or a gif of Killian touching his lips right before she kisses him. Called Strawberry Kisses, and I don't remember if that was a fandom thing or if that was me and my friends. I truthfully don't remember.
I'm here for it.
I mean, because like that's just what we called it, was the Strawberry Kisses moment. I don't know why. I will never know why. Comment
below if that's also a thing for you.
Yeah, if you were in the fandom in 2013 or later, if you were during the fandom, if Strawberry Kisses was a thing for that GIF. Let me know, because my brain doesn't work that well anymore.
No, we're getting older. My last note was just, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy this episode, but I'm very happy Ariel is next.
Yes, Ariel is next. And did you see the thumbnail that Hulu has for the next one?
I did not.
Okay, so then don't look at it.
Oh, don't look at it. Okay.
Like just watch the episode because the thumbnail is amazing, and I have a great story for that thumbnail specifically. But I will reveal nothing about that episode. Although actually, now I'm curious. What did I make next week's burger of the week? Oh,
I really unleashed.
You really did. No, I thought my burger of the week was going to be a spoiler. It's not. It's the Ariel burger, comes with a fork.
No, that's a good one.
It's a good one. No, I thought I'd made a different joke because I've already done all of season 3.
All that makes me think is my server days. Anybody who has met anyone that's like either sometimes celiac, but also my like keto people who will literally order a burger, no bun,
yeah,
and ask for a fork, and I'm just like, you're at a ballpark.
Yeah,
it's a weird experience.
Yes, it is.
I understand what it's like someone who's celiac, but sometimes with keto, I'm just like, can I just bring it to you? Like
there's not like a cross contamination.
Yeah, if you're celiac, completely understand.
Yeah.
If you're keto, do I have to do all that for you? Can you just do it yourself? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But that's all it makes me think of, burger with a fork, because that tends to be what happens.
Yeah. That's next week. This week's comes with climbing gear.
That's a good one.
Because quite frankly, for a man with one hook, with one hand, he's very good at climbing mountains.
It's funny. He's figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a hook for a hand for a couple centuries at this point, because I did update your timeline. Finally, I added Nasty Habits in good form. So this episode, the backstory is, I put about 215 BCE.
Okay.
Ish. It's about 15 years or so prior to like the crocodile and all that stuff. So
okay,
ish. Before Killian kind of really comes in the picture when it comes to Mila, as far as you know, because we will see the first time they meet also in season 5.
Apparently, season 5 is a fun time.
Season 5 has some really good flashbacks.
Ooh.
Season 5 is an interesting season because the 2 that I've mentioned so far are part of our underworld arc. So we're gonna see. That's when Hades is gonna come in. But the backstory is so good. But the backstory, the one I just mentioned, we'll see Mila first meeting Killian, because it's the episode they brought back Rachel Shelley, and it was like, that's what I say is like she's in 3 episodes and she dies in 2 of them. We'll see. You'll see how that goes. And the other one was another Underworld episode that has.
I'm excited for the Underworld episode. Just knowing all the things that could come of that is going to be so much fun.
Wait and see. We'll see how that one goes. That one is always a very hit or miss season for a lot of people. I personally really enjoy the Underworld. It's not without its faults, but honestly, much like my favorite parts of the beginning of season 4, it's kind of bonkers most of the time, which is why I like it. Like, the writing may not be the most poignant, although actually that's not true, because the first episode of that arc is the 100th episode.
Ooh.
And there's a moment where someone gets to apologize to somebody who has since passed. And I remember I was sobbing so much so that like I didn't realize the show had gone to commercial until I could see my friend like just pushing the tissue box slowly into my peripheral vision. She's like, "You're gonna be okay. It's fine. They're just characters." I'm like, but it's so beautiful.
I can't wait. Oh my god.
It's gonna be a time. But we're in season 4 is still my favorite season. So we have good things. After 3A, we have a lot of stuff that I personally really enjoy, which means I hope you will as well. Because like
I'm excited, but also like kind of worried when it comes to the Frozen arc, only because Frozen came out right before I had my daughter, and I was working in childcare at the time.
Yep.
I watched that movie every day for months.
Here's the thing with the Frozen arc. And I said this when I saw Frozen 2, which was hilarious, because Frozen 2 came out 2019, and this was so the Frozen arc was 2014. I like Frozen 2. I liked Frozen 2 as well. I left Frozen 2 saying, wow, Once Upon a Time got some stuff right.
Oh, okay.
There is some stuff that ended in, I mean, I'm sure it's 2 different teams, but there is some stuff that is in, because their Frozen arc is more or less it's a sequel to Frozen. It's not a retelling of that story. But there are some elements in Frozen 2 that were originally used in Once Upon a Time, which I find kind of hilarious.
That's awesome, actually.
So, yeah. So let's do some fun facts.
Yeah, fun facts.
Some fun facts for good form, because I actually do have quite a few. Our guest star du jour was Bernard Curry, who played Liam. We'll see him a handful of times, mostly, again, in flashbacks. He's an Australian actor, which I did not know. He has quite a few acting credits. He's done, some stuff here and there. He was on Pretty Little Liars for a little while, NCIS. He did an episode of Drunk History Australia. He was on 62 episodes of the Australian show Wentworth, which is kind of like Orange is the New Black, but in Australia. That's my understanding of the show. I've never actually seen it. But he was also in 425 episodes of an Australian soap opera called Home and Away, which I find the number of episodes one can be on a soap opera in such a small amount of time hilarious.
That's a lot of episodes.
That was in 3 years.
How?
Every day. If they're daily soaps, every day.
I mean, it's good practice?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Okay, then. Yeah. All right. You learn something new.
You learn new things every day. So for those who didn't know what a sextant is, it is a nautical navigational tool that not everyone knows. Mainly what it does is it uses angular distance it measures the angular distance between two visible objects. The primary usage of it is to measure the angle mostly between astronomical objects and the horizon. So you're measuring the distance to navigate between a certain constellation and the horizon. That way you can figure out where you're going and how you're going places. That's what those are used for. I don't know how to use one. I got this from Wikipedia.
Oh, I don't know how to use one. I know about them just because I've read pirate books.
There you go. I watched a pirate show, but they didn't really talk a lot about like the navigational things in our flagman's death. But speaking of flags.
No, I don't think that's the plot there.
No, but speaking of flags. So Killian renaming the ship the Jolly Roger is named after the infamous the Jolly Roger pirate flag that is being used. And what he says is, we'll sail under a crimson flag and give our enemies no quarter. During the Golden Age of Piracy, fighting under Jolly Roger the Black Flag meant that mercy would be given to all as long as they cooperated. Hoisting a red flag, like he said, on the other hand, signaled that no quarter would be given to any aboard if the ship's crew did not surrender without a fight. In other words, everyone aboard would die. Mm-hmm. So basically, they were turning into the most ruthless of pirates, which like this plays a little bit into my thing of he's anti-hero because pirate, but not really villain. Like that's not the best way to do piracy, but he's angry, so it's okay.
Brother died, kind of mad. Gotta make a decision there, I guess.
He's a little angry. I did love though that as Killian speaks, his accent gets a little less proper as he makes that speech towards the end. Mm-hmm. He starts like, because his accent is very proper, I would say, toward the beginning of those flashbacks. Yeah. And as he makes that speech about how they're going to, sail under the crimson flag and give their enemies no quarter, because even among thieves there is honor, his accent becomes more and more what we're used to from Captain Hook, which I find, I love that subtle shift. Like, good form, Colin O'Donoghue. Good form. So obviously, the navigational tool that Liam says is second star to the right and straight until morning. That's a direct quote from Peter Pan, Disney. Yep. So Devon is the name of the lost boy that they kidnap, apparently. Mm-hmm. Regina gives him an Apollo bar, which is a reference we'll see all throughout the series. And I did kind of love her offering him the candy bar as a little like apple is good. Yeah. Kind of like that method. Just love that. The line good form, or the title, Killian says it a number of times. He says, drunkenness leads to bad form, which we'll see that paralleled again in future flashbacks. Like I said, that happen future flashbacks for us that show earlier points in the timeline. Okay. And then, so it won't be tolerated on the ship, it's bad form. He also says a hero's journey that is indeed good form to Liam. Good form is something that comes up again in the Peter Pan novel. That's very important to Captain Hook. Happens a lot. Last for fun facts to do with lines. Hook's line to Emma when she says, go get firewood and come back in a few minutes. He says, as you wish, which is meant to be a reference to the Princess Bride when Wesley says that to Buttercup instead of I love you. That is, in fact, a Princess Bride reference.
Knew it. He said that. And I was like, that's gotta be a reference.
It is. Of course it is.
Oh, I was so happy. Yes. That is like the romance, in my opinion. It's Princess Bride.
It's an amazing movie. It's unfortunate that we don't have more references to that movie. Given the big nerds of the 80s that these writers are, why don't we have more?
We should have more. I need a Montoya reference. So bad.
Here's the thing: is Killian. I'm so surprised he doesn't make a "You killed my father, prepare to die" at any point.
How great would that be?
It would be amazing.
You know the backstory with that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm a nerd. I can't help it.
We all are. That's why we're here. So the wiki broke down the meaning of the image of the dream shade that Liam had.
Yeah.
The wiki broke down like what it says and like the meanings behind everything, and it's kind of the funniest thing when you really like translate everything. So what the drawing said was dream shade, and then underneath that was 478 some numdra atra, and then under that was, I'm gonna butcher this, it's like Latin, it's like Rosoideae vi rubris, and then more Roman numerals. So if you break that down and you really translate it, some numdra is combining som, meaning sleep, and umdra, meaning shade or shadow. Atra is a botanical Latin to mean dull black. And then the second ones are both two shades of red, basically. Like Rosoideae, I'm not saying this right, is a subfamily, meaning rose. Roman numerals V and I being 5 and 1. Rubris is also a Latin adjective used in botanical nomenclature, meaning red. And then lastly, we have the Roman numeral XII, meaning 13. And then an A at the end. So if you were to translate everything, it would say dream shade, 478, sleep shade black, rose 5.1, red 13A. It's just like, it's like so on the nose, even though actually none of it is red.
Yeah, I didn't see if it flowered or anything.
There were green vines, but there was no red in it. So that part's bizarre. But I just found it hilarious. I'm like, this is like, you really just like picked words that mean the exact thing you're saying, like just over and over and over again. I just find that hilarious for some reason.
I don't know why the king wanted it so bad.
Because it could kill people really quickly.
That's the answer, though.
That's the answer. And lastly, with our international titles, I always find them interesting when there's like one that's different or when they're all identical. They're all different, which is new. They all roughly mean they're all rough references to good form, but except for a couple of them are like becoming a pirate. But like Finnish translated to a man of principle, French translated to the birth of a pirate, German translated to and they became pirates. Hungary is what is appropriate. Italian is the proper form. Portuguese is to act correctly, and Spanish is good manners. Basically, like most of them roughly translate to good form, but none of them translate to it directly, which I found interesting.
That is interesting. Which makes you think that just like form is a different.
I mean, because it's form can be. I mean, could be your form fighting. It could be manners. It could be a way and etiquette. It could be a lot of things. The fact that it translates to different things for everything, it does make a lot of sense.
I like that.
I do too. This episode, I always say, is the birth of two ships. It's the birth of Captain Swan and Captain Charming, because I just kind of think it's hilarious. But these moments where Killian is like a little lovesick, I kind of don't care for them. Like, I like him better when like there's a balance here. But this is for me where his arc does focus more on becoming the type of man that Emma would want, which is an audible thing to better yourself. But I was like, Killy, now is not the time for an emotional heart-to-heart about hope. This is a side of him that I don't like, where his entire goal becomes Emma. He can be romantic and interesting. Oh, he can be a romantic interest and have depth. He doesn't have to switch.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like before he kind of puts all of his focus on Emma, he's a little more interesting as a person.
I like their banter better when it's not that way.
Exactly. Like, he's just like, he's starting, it's a little lovesick puppy Killian is what I think the fandom used to call him. Or just me, for that matter. I don't know. But
comment below.
Comment below. Did anybody else call him that, or was it just me? Because it's not my favorite side of him. Like, I like, once they're together, it's a little less, like, right now, it's really a lot of him, like, kind of not, as I say, he's not changing himself, but he kind of is, to an extent. Like, something I say, I like Captain Swan, and as someone that exclusively ships characters based off the chemistry I think the actors have together, I see it. I get where it comes from. As the writing goes on with Captain Swan, a lot of times what I see is them shaving off parts of the characters to help them fit better together. And that's not how romantic relationships should work in real life or in fiction, for that matter. Like, there are times where ships, like I say this about Outlaw Queen, that one really is a case of they're together because the writers say so, but it works because it's not meant to be a main romantic focus for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely a side romance. It's definitely there, but it's not meant to, like, not something for like all of the viewers to root for. But we're meant to root for Captain Swan because we're gonna have the love triangle coming up.
Fun. Who doesn't love a love triangle?
Or really, I guess, love corner, because, I mean...
I know. Why is it always triangle? Like, I mean, unless... unless Neil and Captain Hook are somewhat involved with each other, it's not a triangle.
I would be okay with that, quite frankly.
I honestly would, too. It'd be hilarious.
That would make... Oh, my God. That would make Mila's line from season 5. So you've been with my former lover and my son even funnier.
Oh God, it'd be that'd be awkward.
That scene is hilarious, because what it leads into that is because like they're doing something in the underworld. Mila is involved. Rumple is just rubbing things in Mila's face for the fun of it, and he starts it off with like, because like they're walking up to meet Emma for whatever reason. I'm not going to give too many, but I love this line. So you just need to hear it. You'll forget about it by the time we get to it, but because I'll get to recite it again. But it's just funny. Oh God, it's like, Miss Swan, someone I'd like to meet. This is Mila, my ex-wife. And Hook's ex, also. She's also Balefire's mother, of course. Emma knew him as Neil. They had a torrid affair, which resulted in a scandalous teenage pregnancy. In prison. Yeah, well, so you've been with my former lover and my son. Is that right? Huh. I'm sure we're gonna let ourselves think about all this one day.
And the mother of her grandchild.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, I think I've told you that one of the random ships that I've created with my friends was Emma, Killian, and Mila. Like, that's a whole lot of fuckery, but it's a lot of fun to think about.
That is a wreath.
That is a wreath, if I've ever seen one.
It's a wreath.
But, like, it's the best kind of wreath, in my opinion.
She's pretty.
Rachel Shelley's a very pretty woman, is all I can say. She's so pretty. Yeah. So I'm not going to be shamed for shipping weird things, because it's fan fiction. Who gives a shit?
No one's blood related in that situation.
No one involved, no. There's no blood involved. It's not technically incest. I love saying that. I love throwing that in the podcast, because I can never use it as a title, but it would be hilarious.
Oh my God.
This is why our podcast is my favorite place to be, because I can say the weirdest shit.
Yeah, we have fun here.
We do have fun here. This is what happens when you're friends for as long as we are. But, I mean, this is a time, I mean, like, I joke this is also the birth of Captain Charming, but this is, I think, where David is a little bit, warming up to Killian in a way.
It saved his life.
Ish. Like, because he did save his life, and he's like, you woke me up to tell me what the price is, and, like, he knew about Pan's deal, and that the deal there was, you have to kill him before the poison does, and he obviously did not do that. Mm-hmm. So I think he's warming up to him in such a way. And again, that just kind of furthers the bromance between Josh and Colin, and it's kind of hilarious. And like the two of them as a dynamic duo, there are moments where it's like, wow, the two of you really do share one brain cell.
Honestly.
There's one point they're going to try and create a potion by themselves, and they read the potion recipe, and it's like they go like, it says to turn the beaker a quarter turn to the left. Do you think we turn the beaker, or do we turn with it? And they're like, oh, best to do both just in case. So whoever's holding the beaker is turning to go, while they turn around. It's the funniest fucking, like, the two of them share less than one brain cell, honestly.
Why are men? That's the answer to that. Why are men?
I don't know. But the women had a good plan in this episode. They did. Give Henry hope, and they found a way to do it. And yes, Snow was being dramatic with, like the, no, we can't repent his heart thing, and Emma had to, like, basically, like, hold her down while Regina did whatever she was doing. It is a little dramatic.
But Regina finally got to do what she wanted.
The little smile she gave the boy before she did it, though.
I was so happy for her.
She got to do something. It's like, she's been holding back for so long, and
she's been good.
She's been good, but she's like this little smile. She's just like, it's like, oh, did I write it down? Because I thought it was I really hope I did. If not, it's okay. There's something about this. It's like, we're not going to hurt him, and then she smiles at him or something like that. It was like something along the lines. Oh yeah, I wrote, she just wants to rip out a heart. Just let her. She needs to blow off some steam.
She's been so good for so long. Just give her this one thing.
Exactly. And like Emma's finally siding with Regina about things. This is what I say about, you know, the leader-lancer relationship is like the lancer will do things that the leader doesn't feel like they can, or I mean she physically can't, but like Emma understands that there needs to be a balance of doing what's quote unquote right versus what will get the job done. Their goal is to get Henry, and they're not going to hurt the guy. They're not going to hurt the kid. Like, ripping out a heart isn't fun, but like they're not going to kill him.
Yeah, you got to do something.
And like the magical mirror FaceTime was a good plan. I loved it because like that thing of like you could use the heart walkie-talkie to send the message, but it clearly isn't as effective because Regina's like so proud of herself. She's like, we're going to do more than send a message. We're going to see him. She's so proud of herself when she does that. And it's so good. Although I did want to be like, Snow, they're having a moment. Go away. When she's like, I'm here too, Henry. I'm like, go away. Just go away.
I know. I'm like, Snow, what are you doing?
It's like, let the mommies have their moment.
I'm still gonna sit in my little corner though of like, we really could have had a great sapphic like storyline here. But
I say this a lot. They're the trope. They really are. They're the trope that you expect. They're the blonde purveyor of light magic, brunette, dark, ambiguous purveyor of dark magic. But like truthfully, if they were together as a romantic couple, they would kill each other. Like in canon. I think fanfiction writers do a great job of finding the best versions of those characters to fit together. But like in canon, they would kill each other.
They're so cute together.
They are very cute together, but it's TV hates sapphics.
I know.
It's unfortunate.
We're a lot of fun. I mean,
we are a lot of fun.
Technically, this is a sapphic podcast.
This is an extremely sapphic podcast. We put out an episode this week that said, "Did you know she got the gay?"
Oh, we did.
That was the Spoonie special went out this week. Was, did you know she's got the gay?
I forgot about that.
And actually, I'm pretty sure recently our episodes are all very LGBTQ focused. Let me look at our episode titles real fast.
Oh my!
Because we've been having some fun with these titles. Episode 89 is which was about Quite a Common Fairy. Did you know today's theme is how can we make this gayer? And then our Neon God special, which should be out well before this episode. This one will have come out in September. Was, did you know all the characters are LGBTQ plus until proven otherwise? Like,
this is a sapphic podcast.
Very sapphic podcast. But like, as much as I love them, they are the trope, but they would not go well for them. My last note is just, I love this episode for Michael Raymond James. He got paid this week to get dragged around and carried in a palanquin. That's all he had to do.
Really?
He got paid to be unconscious.
I want that job.
Right. So, what did you rate this episode?
So, I gave plot and personal 6.
Okay.
Like, it's not bad, but also it's an episode.
It's an episode, yeah.
But character-wise, I gave it an 8.
Okay.
So this is a 20.
All right. That is a perfectly reasonable score. I gave plot and character 6s. We're really, really close. Like, it's backstory that is important for us to have because it sets up a little bit of Killian's relationship with Pan in that, like, we understand why he's so wary of him. But I just personally don't care that much. That's what it boils down to. And personally, it's a 7. So it's a 19. Sorry, I'm only 1 point off of you.
Wow.
Like, for Killian backstory episodes, it's not personally my favorite. I really do think I think my favorite piece of Killian backstory, and it's not even really his backstory because it's not his episode, is the one where is the scene. It's just a scene in the greater flashback episode where he meets Mila the first time, because that's important. That's important for furthering my thing of Mila leaving for what's best for her, not just because pirate's shiny.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. Like, also, like, why she gravitates towards him. That's important. But again, Mila's only in 3 episodes, much like Liam. He's also only in 3 episodes, according to IMDb. So, like, but Killian's backstory and all of this, I like that it always comes back to, for even among thieves, there is honor, because that's important for his character. Again, and it furthers my thing of, like, he's not really a villain unless you consider Rumple to be a hero at any point.
Yeah.
Because that's who he's against. And he's anti-hero. He's morally gray. He's okay with slicing things open and, you know, and all that. Like, he's okay with the swashbuckling aspect. But at the end of the day, he's not a villain in the traditional sense, which is why I always say when his redemption kind of comes around, it seems like it comes around faster than it does for other characters. But I think that's mostly because he was never an active villain against our heroes. So there's less to work through. It's okay. He can just be like, I'm nice now, and they're kind of okay with it.
Yeah, like, well, because he goes back and forth with them constantly, but he's not killing puppies evil.
No, he's not Cruella de Vil.
No.
like I said, especially with, like, Regina, we'll use that as like the comparison. When it comes to forgiveness from the Charmings, Regina has a lot more specific things she's got to work through to gain their forgiveness. With the exception of siding with Cora, Killian doesn't really have a whole lot of stuff that he's done specifically against them. Yeah. Like, he did take the bean at the end of season 2, but he came back because he, you know, Emma got in his head and made him believe he could do the right thing. But, like, as a villain, he didn't do a whole lot against them. Like, I'm pretty sure, based on what we know, he'd never met the Charmings prior to, prior to season 2, but there's an episode in season 6 where they do meet him, but they all lost their memories, so it doesn't count because nothing happened.
Okay.
I will explain that when we get there. But, like, because there's also a flashback, but the flashback doesn't entirely count. That's the end of this season. Again, I'll get there. Well, I'll explain that when we get there. They don't have anything to do with him in a villainous sense. Like, he doesn't work against them at any point. So, like, him just deciding he wants to do better is enough. Regina has to kind of earn forgiveness for the exact terrible things that she's done. So it makes sense that his redemption doesn't take as long, in my opinion. At least not in the eyes of our heroes. I
love morally great characters, so it's hard for me to be like, do they need redemption? Like, I like them where they are.
He's still snarky and morally gray, but he you know, also brings Emma a grilled cheese and onion rings for lunch.
Ooh, onion rings sounds great right now. You had to bring food into it, man.
I'm having Totino's pizza rolls for lunch.
That's fair. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 6, Episode 1, Sliding Bobs, and Episode 2, The Land Ship. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.